Good evening, and peace and blessings be upon us all. Today, this show of solidarity by everyone here is an act of kindness. God commands us in all of His holy books to treat others as such. The Islamic faith is no different. We have been commanded to be kind to our fellow man, including our neighbors. This is a tenet of all our religions. However, we as a community are seeing acts of hatred and bigotry surfacing. Acts which isolate Muslims and perhaps may make some feel as if they are not part of the broader community. We Muslims feel isolated when we walk to our local mosque to worship our Lord, and we are greeted by the intimidation of cowards. We feel isolated when we are pulled aside in an airport line for a random search. And when we speak to our own children, who are growing up in a very different era than you and I have, we are faced with the difficult task of explaining to them why them in their youth are bullied and targeted by their own peers. But Muslims, as everyone here knows, are not inherently bad. We spend our lives devoted to making the best of what the Lord has given us and worshiping Him as best as we can. We face the same struggles that our non-Muslims brethren face. We too are targeted by an extremist faction who are nothing more than mere criminals in search of acceptance. Therefore, we as a community need to continue to come together in support of and in defense of one another. We are a pluralistic society who can shine as an example to the rest of our country. Events such as this one here today help bridge the gap with this misunderstood religion. Therefore, when someone asks you what you know of Muslims or what you know of the religion of Islam, your local Muslim community invites you to inform this person that you've met Muslims, you've spoken with them, perhaps today, you've shaken their hands, perhaps you've broken bread with them, if it's after dark and we're done with our fast. We ask for your support during any times of darkness that we may have, and in return, we will do as God commands us to be lockstep with our local community. As a representative, as one of the many representatives of our local Muslim communities, we thank you for this act of solidarity. And we as a community will continue to grow together.
The book of Revelation is a dream. It's a vision of God's presence and the fullness of God made known in the world. And we are here not simply to dream, but those dreams become a reality because we act. And the leaves of healing that are described in this text are expressed tonight in your presence here. And it moves us a little bit closer to the fullness of God and the wholeness of God made known in the world when we act in this way. And the angel showed me the river of the water of life, as clear as crystal, flowing from the throne of God and of the Lamb down the middle of the great street of the city. On each side of the river stood the tree of life, bearing 12 crops of fruit, yielding its fruit every month. And the leaves of the tree are for the healing of the nations.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May peace be upon all to you. I don't have any formal speech prepared for today, so one of my friends says, why don't you just wing it? So I'm going to wing it. My brother Behjat Sayyid was very active with the Interfaith Council, and I just wanted to thank you from the bottom of my heart and on behalf of my community to take upon yourself to organize such a wonderful event. And I would just want to thank every one of you to take out the time to show solidarity, strength, and unity with the Muslim community. Instead of giving you a dose of our religion or what Islam says or doesn't say, I just want all of you to go back with one practical guideline. In today's society, we always see such negative perceptions or messages which are based on hatred and are designed to instigate differences between religions and communities. I can already feel that all of you are concerned citizens, have love for other people and are strong believers. So I can expect also that whenever you are faced with such a message, please make an informed decision. Do not jump to conclusions. I mean, really, how many Muslims do you know who are just going out and terrorizing others? It is the number of peace-loving Muslims is just absolutely overwhelming. So whenever you're faced with a message of hatred or division, please take it upon yourself to get the facts, find out more, and then arrive at your learned conclusion. It is so sad to see such a wonderful country, such as the United States, which was founded upon the principles of unity and freedom of religion, to have these very principles now divide us. So please make informed decisions. Thank you very much.
Before I start the saying, I just would like to say that this kind of an event is simply a breath of fresh air in the midst of it all. So thank you so much. Can you hear me now? Okay, good. Okay. So I just would like to read a few sayings of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, peace be upon him. We Muslims consider him to be the role model and the final prophet of the religion. A man asked, "O Prophet of God, what is faith?" And the Prophet said, "When your good work gives you pleasure and your evil work gives you grief, you're a person of faith." And then the man asked, "What is sin?" And he said, "When anything disturbs you within yourself, forsake it." Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said that every religion has a distinctive virtue, and the distinctive virtue of Islam is modesty. He said, "You will not enter paradise until you have faith, and you will not complete one another." Faith is a restraint against all violence. Let no mu'min, a believer, commit violence. And one of the more famous sayings of Prophet is that any one of you who sees wrong, let him undo it with his hand. And if he cannot, let him speak against it with his tongue. And if he cannot do this either, then let him abhor it with his heart. And this is the least, the weakest of faith. And whoever believes in one God and the hereafter should speak what is good or remain silent.
You know, I've been thinking a lot about this situation that we have and watching the news coverage, and it seems that a lot of the discussion initially focused on the constitutional right, freedom of religion, property rights, and then at some point it moved off of that, and people said, well, we concede that there's a constitutional right, we concede that there are property rights, but it's a question of whether this is right or wrong. And so I've been thinking a lot about whether it's right or wrong. And for anybody here, I think there are a lot of people here, for any of you that have ever been the other, if you've ever been unwelcome, if you've ever been new or foreign or not normal or not conventional or not accepted or not understood, you know in your heart how hurtful this is and how wrong it is. And you don't need a constitution or a law to tell you that it's wrong and that it's not who we are and it doesn't represent the best of who we are. And when I look out here in this amazing gathering of people and I'm standing here with my two colleagues, I'm reminded why my wife and I chose this community, to live in this community, to raise our children in this community, to take our kids to your church, and to be a part of all of you. So thank you very much. Thank you for being here. It means so much to all of us.
I grew up during segregation, and that was a time when I was denied an education. So I know how it feels to be denied something that you should be entitled to. Our country was founded because people wanted religious freedom, and I think that everyone deserves that. Um, my faith says that I should love my neighbors. It does not say I should love my neighbor because you're black, you're white, you're Muslim, you're Catholic, you're Baptist. It says I should love my neighbor. And I hope that is my hope, desire, deep desire, that we do that, because I think that if we all, you know, heard that song, A Spoonful of Love? If we all could just love one another and care for one another, our world would be a better place. And so my Muslim brothers and sisters, I'm Baptist, and I say I love you. And I hope that you, it is my prayer that the fear that people are feeling, that they overcome that fear, because I think that's what happens. People become afraid. They're afraid of those things that they don't know about. And I hope that we as a society can show each other love, not by the color of your skin or your faith, but because we're all created as one. And God has many names, whether he's Allah, God, Jehovah, Jehovah, whoever he is. Yeah, I said Yahweh. Regardless of who he is, we're all his children. Thank you.
You know, some people have been asking me since I got here why I came down from New Haven. You know, we talked a lot about loving our neighbor, but the faith that I believe in tells me also that it's by my love that people will know who I am and who I'm of. And so when I came down here this evening, I came down here because to love is not just to sit in New Haven and say, well, it's a good thing what they're doing down in Stamford, and it's nice that they're doing that there, but it's to come and participate and to show that some of us who are elected aren't afraid to speak out and say what we believe. And I believe that Muslim people are my brothers. And since they're my brothers, I came here to support tonight. And I want to thank the people who are standing here tonight together, the tapestry that is here. The tapestry that is here, because it's a beautiful thing to look at. And one of the other reasons I came down, quite frankly, is because I was worried about the lack of some people who look like me being in the crowd. Because I've had discussions with people about this issue, and we haven't stood up. And we know, maybe better than a lot of people, what it's like to be the other. So I wanted to come down to love and to show that there's one of us here, there's somebody here that believes in the cause that's being represented by the people who are standing together this evening. So thank you for coming together and allowing me to be a part of this.
I am with the Council on American Islamic Relations, the Connecticut chapter. It is a civil rights organizations for Muslims in America. And since the incident that took place in Bridgeport, the ugly incident about more than 2 weeks ago, we've been following it closely. And we came face to face with it, with those people who came again and again. And they denied that they were shouting and yelling at us, but we actually caught them on tape. One of them preaching right outside the mosque saying Muslims should give up the Quran for a whole month. Now, remember he said that on the first day of Ramadan, which is the holy month of Ramadan. For Muslims, that is the month of the Quran. That is the month that we revere the most. And so that was hurtful, especially when he said it at the same time Muslims were praying inside the mosque. And I was standing with them praying and I could hear him from the sidewalk. Anyway, and I'm going to make this short, we need to use this occasion to turn things around, to use this ugly occasion and turn it into something good. Let us not walk away tonight just with giving a little speech here and there, but let us walk away tonight with a commitment and a challenge to all of us that we were going to do something about this, that we were going to reach to those who we never talked to them before, that we're going to sit down with those that we might have some differences with, and we say, we're going to talk about this. Because I think we have more in common than we think, or what they would like us to think. We have so much in common, and there's so much problems out there that we could face it all together. We could face it all together. And I think, and so what we did as a response to the ugliness and the bullhorns and the screaming and shouting is we gathered more than 300 people this past Friday in Bridgeport from all faiths, from all walks of life, and from all colors. And we had dinner, iftar, together, breaking the fast. And we talked to one another. And we promised that we're going to keep that relationship going. So I hope, inshallah, God willing, that we will do the same everywhere we go.
So yes, before we part today, we might make some plans. We wanted to have a little bit of silence after lots of non-silence, but very full and wonderful words. And we had thought about, let's make a big circle, hold hands. But you know what? We're too many for a circle, which is wonderful, wonderful news, or it would take us about a half hour to form one. I'm going to invite you, though. I think I'm from a tradition that believes that in praying with touch, there is power. So if you're comfortable just reaching out and putting your hand on the shoulder of somebody else or a couple of people around you, let's see if we can connect and pray for God's fullest blessing upon one another in whatever way that we understand God. Pray for healing for our nation, for the world, for healing of divisions between religions. Pray for blessing.